Donald Trump, who somehow made people believe he was anti-war, calls Netanyahu and himself war heroes now. Here it is.
Worked with your friend Bibi. He's a good man. He's in there fighting. He's fighting. You know, they're trying to put him in jail on top of everything else. How about that? He's
nuts.
He's a war hero because we work together. He's a war hero. I guess I am too.
Yep.
Nobody cares, but I am too. I mean, I sent those planes.
No, nobody cares, but I'm also a war hero, he says. Yeah. Donald Trump did not take us to war, guy, as Republicans have argued right here on this show. That's the reason they supported him. Or the great economist, Donald Trump, the one that could figure it out, businessman. None of it was true. We knew it. And I think deep down they did too. Put it up for a minute. So Trump calls Netanyahu and himself war heroes. You heard it. Despite never fighting in an actual conflict and receiving 5 deferments from the Vietnam draft. I've never heard of such a thing. 5 deferment from the draft. They were drafting professional sports legends. But he got 5 deferments. President Trump claims he is, in fact, now a war hero, along with Prime Minister Netanyahu for their strike against Iranian nuclear facility. You know, interestingly, it was Trump who said, this is pre-President Trump. He said, oh, President Obama is weak and he's going to bomb Iran, Iranian nuclear, because he can't negotiate. He's not able to get it done. Weak. He put this on social media. You can find it. It's still contextualized on YouTube pages all across. So now he's a war hero. Okay? Put it full mess. So during the interview, Trump took credit for hostages released since his election, though dozens were released before his inauguration. And one was released in May 1. And a reminder, Netanyahu has been the subject of an international criminal court arrest warrant. Yes, there's a warrant out for his arrest since last November for alleged war crimes, not being a war hero, but being the exact opposite of one in Gaza. More than 60,000 Palestinians have been killed, average age 19.1, in the constant brutal attack due to the Israeli military offensive, which began after Hamas did the unthinkable, October 7, 2023. It was an attack on Israel. It killed 1,200 people. That was horrible. But I think we can agree that 60,000 dead people is much more than 1,200 dead people. And I don't even like to contextualize death in that term, but it seems as if folks can't get the reason why people would be upset about 60,000 folk dead, and there's still a narrative to say they don't matter. No, the 1,200 matter, and damn it, the 60,000 matter. And as long as we keep the narrative going, I remember right here on Indisputable a few years ago, we were defending our Jewish brothers and sisters because Kanye West, MAGA, and others were antithetical to them, saying things like Jews must go and hanging flags across banners and bridges. And we defended our brothers and sisters. And then when Netanyahu decided to launch his brutal attack on innocent civilians, we defended them too, to then be characterized as somehow antithetical to Jews. That's insane. You gotta be pro-human, pro-humanitarian, pro-common sense. Hamas freed around 30 hostages during the ceasefire that began just before Mr. Trump's inauguration in January. Another captive was released in May on the eve of Trump's visit to the Middle East. You're talking about 240 hostages taken during the Hamas-led attack. The attack's initial October 7, 2023. Okay. The one thing that I ask you to hold in your awareness is that war is never necessary. It is not a necessary thing. Never let them make you believe war is required. It's not. All right. Thoughts, this.
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, Trump, he wants a Nobel Peace Prize, right? He also wants a Kennedy Center honor, even though he hasn't made any significant contributions to the arts. Like, I don't even know what his tribute performances would look like because there's no way to honor him in the arts because he hasn't done anything. But Trump also now wants credit for ending the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And if he can pull that off, then great. But he wants to end it because he thinks it'll help him get into heaven. So he's still only doing it for himself. This guy sucks. And it's telling that the people that he chooses to align himself with are people like Vladimir Putin and Benjamin Netanyahu. But yeah, I don't know how he can claim to be the anti-war president and also a war hero. I don't know why or how Netanyahu could even be considered a war hero. I have even less of an idea why or how Trump would be considered to be a war hero, a draft dodger who actually made fun of real war heroes. And he goes on these softball podcasts so he can just say things like, oh, Netanyahu is a war hero and so am I guess, with absolutely no pushback. And just to add to what you were saying earlier, Doc, yes, Netanyahu is widely regarded in the rest of the world as being a war criminal, not a hero. But just this week, Amnesty International declared that the mass starvation happening right now in Gaza is a deliberate genocidal tactic being perpetuated by Israel, which is something that I know we've talked about here on the show before. Trump is not getting into heaven by hanging out with people like Netanyahu and Putin, two leaders who are currently invading their neighbors for no reason. It's, as he said, it's completely pointless. They're wasting money, they're wasting lives on both sides of their so-called conflicts or wars, but neither of these are wars. This is just an onslaught. This is an invasion. These are both invasions. And Trump has decided to side with the invaders here.